Do you find yourself wondering what all the various rule books and source books and whatnot for BattleTech actually mean? What you actually need to play the game, what's fluff, what's crunch, etc., etc.? Well, if you're in that situation, join me today as I explain one of the types of books, the Technical Readouts. And I'll show you some samples from inside of them and try to compare them to some of the other books to basically explain what's going on here. So, join me today. This is the Geek Cabal channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Bobbie, and this is going to be another BattleTech Bits segment. Not going to be doing lore bits on this one, but it's going to be a relatively short video, so that's why it's going to fall into that. So, as I said in the intro, if you're relatively new to the game, you're wondering what all these various books are actually for, I'm going to try to explain one of them and try to compare it to some of the others. So these are two examples of some of the technical readouts. Now, these two are relatively recent, because remember, the game's been going since the 80s. So this one is actually the most recent one, and is an updated version of the TRO Technical Readout, shortened to TRO most of the time you see it online, for 3025. Now, typically, these are either by a specific year or a specific conflict. And I didn't bring my whole stack of them to be in this video to show you, but just bear with me here. So this one is an updated version for 3025 because they've revamped all the artwork. So they wanted one of the classic ones with the new artwork. Plus they're able to kind of sell it on a millennial edition, because this is the year 2025. This is a book that's supposed to be representing the year 3025. Don't know if we're going to get the update for 3026 next year or not. Who knows? This one, however, is for the War of 3039. And this one has stuff from various other books in it. I think this one's actually long out of print. I shouldn't say long out of print because Catalyst made it, and they've not had the license too super long. But anyway, you notice they're both in landscape format. Now, most of these source books and rule books are normal books, like this one. This is just a fluff book for Legends. Now, in case you never heard that term before, fluff is just superfluous material. It's the story, just random knowledge, whereas crunch is the rules. So your rule book is predominantly crunch. There's probably some little story elements in there, especially in BattleTech. There are always story elements. Whereas, like this book, I believe doesn't have any rules in it. Yeah, this is just various people and their battle mechs. It's Legends. I've done a video on this book. In fact, I'll link to it. So, most of them look like this. Now, you go back very far, and they're going to be soft cover instead of hard cover for almost all the books. This is Catalyst doing these in hardcover is a recent change, but so a lot of the older books are in softcover. Now the rule books are the same format and scale, like the Total Warfare book. That's a rule book. So that's just one example of a rule book. The Alpha Strike rule book is going to be the same scale and everything. These, however, are landscape format. Now these are predominantly fluff. And basically what it is there's a lot of pictures of battle mechs. There are notable pilots. It talks about the history, like when the mech first rolled off the assembly line, who made it, who's making it. Like I said, notable pilots, various aspects of its history. And then there'll be one of the configurations as far as the armor and the weapons. And that's basically what's in there. Now, I do more Alpha Strike than conventional BattleTech, but I'm given to understand that you could take the information that's in here and fill out a record sheet for that particular variant of the battle mech. I'm given to understand that's the case. I've never tried it. I don't know the ins and outs of it. So in that aspect, yes, there is some crunch in there. There's some rules relevant information. but the vast majority of it is, hey, here's a picture of the battle mech, here's the year it was introduced, the companies that make it, whether it's a clan or intersphere mech once you're past a certain point, because the clans didn't invade until 3050, so like neither of these have, well, I'd have to double check because this is actually a newer book, but I don't believe there are any clan mechs in this one. If it is just a straight up reproduction with new artwork of 3025, there should not be any clan mechs in here. There are not any in this one. Now, some of these are compilations of other books. So, like I said, there's one for 3025, there's one for 3026, there's one for 3039, there's one for 3050, 3060, 3075, there's one for 3145, 3150, but then there's also like one for the Clan Invasion, which takes a bunch of mechs from the 3050 one as well as earlier books. It's not a complete, it doesn't completely combine everything from those books. It picks ones from several other books. And they usually say on the back where the material comes from if they're doing that. But that's something the Catalyst has done. I'm given to understand some issues with reprinting the older ones of these. Something to do with the file format or something because of the landscape. But you have one for the Clan Invasion, you have one for the Succession Wars, one for the Jihad, and then you have one for the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages, I think, is a compilation of ones that were only available online, which that's another thing. Some of these are only online. There's a lot of them through the Dark Age era because they began to do them for factions, which the print ones do not do that. The print ones are either a year, 3029, or sorry, 3025, 3039, or they're for a specific conflict, like the Clan Invasion, Succession Wars, the Jihad. So they do not go into, like, there's not like one of these for House Lao or House Kirita or Clan Wolf. That's just not a thing. Now there's source books for those, obviously, and I'll do a video on those someday, probably in the near future. But so yeah, that's basically what these are. And like I said, there's a lot of these floating around. There are older ones, then there's updated ones. Like I don't have the original 3050, I have an update 3050, which I think has some more material in it. And I don't know if it actually updated any of the notable pilots or anything. I think it just put more material in there. Whereas like this is predominantly just upgrading the artwork, but I think they also might have rewritten some of the segments. Elements of this give me hope though. And I'll talk about that in my review for this one, which will hopefully actually be before this video, so you can link back to it and see if you want to see more in-depth content of what's actually in here. So anyway, there's a lot of these, and like I said, I'm going to do a review of this one, and if that goes over well, I'll start going through the back catalog and kind of doing some reviews of the others. But yeah, so there you go. Now, like a lot of BattleTech books, once they sell out, it's hard to get a hold of them and the value begins to skyrocket. So if you see one of these and you want it, and it's actually like in print and available, I would go ahead and pick it up. Now, if you don't mind a non-physical version, you can get PDFs of a lot of these. But if you actually want a physical copy, some of the older ones can probably get a little pricey. So I haven't checked in a while, but I think this one's actually kind of valuable. But might have changed. I don't know. I don't plan on selling it, so I don't really care. But anyway, that's all I have to say on these. If you have any questions, hit me up down in the comments. If you're stuck around through this, but you know exactly what these are, what's your favorite TRO? Do you like the updated one? Do you want to see others updated with a new artwork like this? Anything like that? Let me know down in the comments. Do you want to see in-depth reviews of all of them that I have? I've got a stack about this high of them. So I think I have 8, 9 of them, maybe 10. I don't know. I have a lot of the more recent ones, but I also have, like I said, I've got the updated 3050. I have an original 3060. I've got one for the Jihad. I have the 2 for the recent where they revamped everything with clan level tech to make it relevant again in the Dark Age era. I can't think what they called those two. Got a few others, random ones floating around. Anyway, let me know what you think about that down in the comments. Any other types of books you want me to cover? I'm going to try to do one of these videos to also explain like the difference between the this format, like the rule books and the fluff books, and then the ones that are halfway in between. And I'll probably cover certain series of them, like some of the house handbooks, because I have either for 4 of the 5 houses, just missing House Merrick, and the Periphery. So I have the Periphery, so I've got 5 of them. Anyway, that's all I've got. So like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting helps grow the channel. I'd like to thank everyone that helped us get over 600 subscribers not that long ago. Literally couldn't do it without you folks. But yeah, that is all I've got for today. So just remember, no guts, no galaxy.